Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Daily Freedom Podcast. I'm Fernando Lopez, your host, and today I have the honor of interviewing Christina Wells. She's an expert in sound healing, holistic therapy, and energy readings. I was introduced to Christina through a great friend of mine who thought I just had to have Christina in the show, and now I understand why. Christina, how are you? Welcome.
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
You're very welcome. Our mutual friend, he's an amazing person. And you just referred to him as being with someone who's been a 30-year Buddhist monk. Is that how you describe him?
I said he's a 30-year Buddhist meditator, and when you're around him, you're just around positivity.
Yes. And I experienced that too. And when he told me about you, he shared a few things. And I said, yes, please send her the link. Let's schedule a time. And even though you and I just met, I already feel why. And I would like to first to start with your big why. Why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I love it. I do what I do because I'm really good at it. And I do what I do because I was born to do it. I come from a lineage of healers and medicine people in my ancestry, and it's in me. So I started learning this stuff when I was 15. And when I don't do it, I actually start to get ill. I get unbalanced in my body. So I have to do it. It's part of my purpose. It's part of my path. To go a little bit deeper, I just feel like sharing this. If you look at people like an ecosystem, and you really go back into the way villages were designed, you had a medicine man or medicine woman, you had a chief, and then you had woodworkers, and you had people who made the canoes, and you had hunters, and you had basket weavers, and you had all these people doing different things. And everyone had a gift that they were bringing to that community. Okay, so I do this because that's my gift.
I love that. And I wonder, I've met a few people over the years that said that they were raised in their parents were healers, but I never got to, sit down and ask many questions. Compared to, your friends who didn't have parents who were healers, or, how different was it growing up in that environment?
I mean, it was very different. I got to see things that I didn't know how to express, though, when I was younger. So I just had, how do I express it? It's like, because it started, a lot of my training started by me receiving. So my stepdad was healing me. My mom was teaching me, and they were working me. And through working me, I got to ask questions. But I also got to see the results of the work that I was receiving and the wisdom that I was gaining as things progressed. And so through that receiving, I felt a stability inside my body and a clarity inside my body that I started to observe other people didn't quite have. And it just gave me a really deep appreciation for what I was gifted in my family. And not that mine's better or worse than anybody else's, because there's no such thing. I've had to have my own healing journey. Trust me. I've had my own healing journey. I've had my own things to work through. We're all human, and we're all shedding, and we're all learning, and we're growing in this life. And that's part of life. So I really want to share that. I think that's important.
What is Reiki?
Reiki. So my favorite way to describe Reiki is like Reiki is the sunlight. So if you look at your body, okay, put sunlight over here for a second, and I'm going to get back to that. And if you look at your body, okay, you have all these energy currents that are running through your body. You have your veins, you have your vascular system, you have your circulatory system, you have all these pathways, you have your central nervous system, right? So there's all these currents constantly running through your body. Now, different modalities have broken this down. That's ancient, way more ancient. Western medicine is a baby. So I want to make that very, very clear. If we look on a timeline of things, Western medicine is a baby. It's not traditional. It's new age. It's not traditional. Traditional medicine has been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So you want to get into traditional medicine, you go to India and you go to Asia, or you go to other indigenous cultures that have been carrying that wisdom with them. So I just want to clarify that before I move on. So you have all these energy pathways in your body. So if you look at your body like a house, okay, and within the house, you have an electrical system, right? This current that runs through the whole house, and it keeps the house lit up, keeps the house alive, keeps the house vibrant. Each room does something different. The kitchen is making food. There's energy going in, there's energy going out. The bathroom is getting rid of waste. The bedroom is where you sleep. The living room is where you commune with people and maybe you're creative. Each room has something that does a little bit different. So your body, if you break it down, let's look at a circuit breaker box. So let's say there's 7 circuit breaker box, and each breaker is for a room in that house. So you have your root chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, your third eye, your crown, okay? So these are all rooms that govern a much larger area, and they're taking care of the overall health. Okay, so what Reiki does, okay, because over time, things can get old, right? You're in the kitchen and you're looking and you're like, whoa, those floorboards, ooh, those are dirty. There's some like dust accumulating over there. Oh my goodness, how'd those windows get so dirty? I just cleaned them a week ago. Oh my God, I got to clean the toilet again. And so there's things that just accumulate. Well, our bodies aren't different. Our bodies accumulate too. And so what Reiki is a very high voltage, high frequency energy that goes into the body and cleans it out. If there's any blockages, like sometimes, hey, I got to do home improvement, right? Oh, shoot, the roof is caving in. Something's not going right there. And ooh, a pipe just busted. And whoa, it's got some major stuff going on here. Reiki goes in, and it's also like it's your construction crew. It's making things better. But you don't get to that cave in and the roof and the pipe bursting. That gets to that stage because of a lack of care. Okay, so I really want to make that known. That comes in from a lack of care. Over time, erosion can set in the kitchen if there's lack of care to taking care of that kitchen, to taking care of that bathroom, to taking care of that bedroom. Okay, so Reiki it's taking care of your body. So it's also like sitting underneath Niagara Falls. So I said this like really high voltage, high frequency energy. So just imagine you're sitting underneath Niagara Falls. Now that stuff is some powerful stuff. Okay, that is like, I don't know how many feet up there, not to mention all the negative ions. Oh my God, look that up because we don't have time to go into that. So, so you're getting in all these negative ions and you're underneath this amazing waterfall. And it's just like, cleansing you out. And afterwards, you're like, oh my God, I'm so invigorated. What happens when you jump in water? You take a dip in the lake or you take a dip in the ocean. Something about you feels what? Clean, invigorated, fresh, new, alive, right? It feels really good. So it's very similar to that. So going back to the sunlight and Reiki being sunlight, ultimately, Reiki is universal wisdom. So yes, it's this energy, right? But what is this energy? If we're all energy, my whole cell, my whole body, everything about me is energy, everything around me is energy. What is this Reiki and how does it actually work? Well, it's universal wisdom. There's always going to be, and this is really, really important, there's always going to be a question mark that is never going to be answered in life because we are constantly growing. And if it's answered, then how do we keep moving? So we might get an answer, but then there's going to be another question mark. And that's part of that Fibonacci sequence. That's part of that Solfeggio sequence. That's part of the phi ratio, which is in nature all around us. That's part of the natural law of the universe. Okay. And so there's always going to be a little bit of a great mystery to things. And that's what Indigenous people talk about. So I can't answer all of that for you, because part of that is part of the great mystery. But what I can tell you, if we go back to that central column, we go back to that nervous system, that spinal column, okay? I have a direct connection with Mother Earth, and I have a direct connection with Father Sky. Okay, now I've given those labels, and you can call it whatever you want to. And that's where Reiki is really cool, because it doesn't care if you're Catholic, it doesn't care if you're Christian, it doesn't care if you're Protestant, it doesn't care if you're Muslim, it doesn't care if you're atheist, it doesn't care if you're an axe murderer, it doesn't care if you're a saint. The sun shines on you when you walk outside. So that's why I say Reiki is the sunlight. It shines on you. It shines on you. It doesn't matter all these little tiny details about what your pathway to that is. Okay, whatever that is, that's your path. Honor that path, because that's your path with creation. Just like every plant and every creature has its own unique path. And these are very sacred teachings that it is unanimous across all indigenous cultures that I've ever studied with, is that you have your own unique connection with Creator. And that's yours, and that you follow that. So if your pathway is to be a Catholic, cool, man, I dig that. And if your pathway is to do earth-based spirituality, cool, man, I dig that too. None of that changes the fact that when I walk outside, I receive sunlight. I receive this incredible energy. None of that changes the fact that when I walk outside and I take off my shoes and I put my feet on the earth, I am connecting with this nutritious energy that's feeding me, just like a plant that has roots in the ground. Okay, so that's a little bit more than what Reiki is, but I wanted to also describe kind of what it's doing, and also give you a little bit of background of what your body looks like in relationship to energy, so you understand that how that inner column and how those things are working. And we can get caught up a little bit and tied up a little bit into what each individual thing is, and that don't really matter. Just let things move. Let it move out. Don't attach yourself, and stay true to what keeps you whole, because the heart is what's in the center of all that. And if we follow that heart energy right here, then that keeps us moving forward, but never at a detriment to your truth. All right, so that's the balance, that's the harmony. We got the devil on one shoulder, we got the angel on the other. And what are we looking for? We're looking for alignment. That's what Egypt taught me. So I'll stop there.
Wow. This is great. This is a great intro. This is a great way to start
Okay,
a conversation. So many places we could go. How about we go towards the heart center that you just spoke about? How can one follow their heart? What does that even mean?
In my experience, dis-ease, discomfort, pain. We'll just stick with those three for right now. But those core essences, those things right there, happen when these centers get out of alignment. Okay, so they're not quite aligned. How do they get out of alignment? Okay, well, the energy is moving. You can't see my belly, but I'm running my hand from the base of my body here where I'm sitting, from my sit bones, all the way up, passing through my womb space, my colon, my digestive system, to right here where my stomach's at, and up here into my chest. Okay, so things can kind of go like this a little bit sometimes, and they get a little crooked. Now, that happens when we don't allow that energy to flow up. So that energy needs to flow up and through. Again, I've been bringing in the concept of who we are as plants, as individuals, okay? Because like it or not, whatever your pathway of believing is, we are organic. That's scientific. We're organic. When we die, our body goes back to the earth. Okay, so we're organic. And because we're organic, there's going to be some basic similarities that nature is constantly showing us. They are a perfect representation and a way that we can learn how to live in wholeness. So you can look at a plant and it's like wilting and it's not doing good. And then you can look at a plant and it'd be like, whoa, it's thriving. Our body's not that different. So when a plant is thriving, that energy, it has healthy roots, right? And it's getting the right amount of sun up on top. Now, a plant doesn't say, I'm not going to receive that sunlight. A plant doesn't say that, right? Okay, it doesn't say that. A bird doesn't sit there and be like, I'm not going to sound like a crow. A bird's just going to sound like a crow. A squirrel's going to sound like a squirrel. A bear's going to sound like a bear, right? The ocean sounds like the ocean. All these things aren't pretending. They're just doing who they are, what they are. They're doing what they do. Going back to that concept of the village, like I was saying earlier, that whole concept there, they are contributing their gifts. So water's doing water, right? And that's why we feel really good when we're in nature. So I know I'm sidetracking a little bit from your question, but I'm going to come back around to it because all of this ties in. It's all connected, okay? So it's really important that we allow this energy to flow, that we allow this energy to come up. So when we don't allow that energy through a lack of trust or fear, okay, then that is going to congest this area, okay? When that gets congested, then the energy stops flowing here, okay? Now, keep that in mind, and I'm going to go over here for a second, and I'm going to go to a description of heart energy. So I'm going to bring in, some of you may or may not have heard about the Merkaba. Okay, so I'm going to say this slow so you can Google it at any time that you want to. Merkaba, okay? So you have an upward triangle, and you have a downward triangle. Okay, now let's really look at this. Okay, what is the downward triangle doing? Oh my God, it's pointing to the earth, just like that central column is. Okay, what's the upper triangle doing? Whoop, okay, that's pointing towards the sun, just like you know, the upper part of that spine is doing. Okay, great. What's in the center of those two triangles?
That'll be the base of the triangle?
No, what's in the center of the two triangles? Because those two triangles overlap.
Oh, they're overlapping. So it
overlap.
creates a six-pointed star.
It does. It creates a six-pointed star. So you go underneath the breastline, okay? And then the other triangle comes like that here, roughly, right here. So
does it create an hexagon?
It creates a Merkaba.
A Merkaba, okay.
A Merkaba. So you're going to have to Google it. And in the center of that Merkaba is the heart. It is the vehicle of your light body. Oh my God, now we're getting into all this new age lingo. Oh my goodness, this is scary. No, but there's really something to this. Your light body. Now, if I'm energy and light shining down and my cells are vibrating energy, right? And a plant has energy to survive. When something's thriving, wouldn't the energy inside, whatever is thriving, like sparkle really bright and have a lot of light? Okay. And when it's dying, what is it doing? It's like shriveling up, doesn't have so much light. It's decomposing. It's in an acidic state. It's not in an alkaline state. It's in an acidic state. So when we want, I started to lose track. So the heart being in the center of all of that is your light body. It's your vehicle of light. Okay. It is, and it is your vehicle of light. I've seen it. I know it to be true, period. So here you have your vehicle of light, which is keeping you balanced. Now you have 3 chakras, throat, third eye, and crown. And here you have 3 more chakras taking care of the underworld, right? The underworld, scary stuff. There's so many emotions in there. We don't know what we're doing when we're shitting it out when we go to the bathroom. Sorry.
Good job for a bathroom.
It's your digestive system. It's where you're eliminating waste. Okay. So here you have your solar plexus, your sacral, and then your root chakra. All of these, what's going on there? That's your digestive system. And we're taking in a lot of information, emotions, all these things all the time. So that's there and it's important. So we want that to be balanced. So when we allow that energy, sometimes people don't want to feel what's down there. They're like, oh, that's too much. I don't like that. Oh, that's really uncomfortable. Oh, that hurts. Oh, I don't like that. I don't want that truth. See what I'm doing here? Touching my heart. And then I'm saying, no, I'm saying, I don't want that truth. I don't want that truth. But when we allow that truth, knowing that that truth is always taking us to that light, okay, it is the light, because that truth might be something that is uncomfortable. It just might be, but it's still the truth. And when you align yourself with that truth, then that energy from those lower 3 chakras can rise up right here, and then they can be expressed, okay? So when it gets here, what happens next, we really want it to come into the throat, and we really want it to start expressing itself, okay? So when we are here, it's much easier for this energy to be here, but up here, the energy is coming down. It's not coming up. Okay, so the energy is coming down into the brain. Okay, then it's coming into the throat. Okay, and it's meeting here at the heart. It also continues downward as well. So that's one energy current. So what I'm beginning to now describe is slightly advanced, and I'm getting into describing your Kundalini energy, okay, where you have one force of energy that's spiraling upwards. Science calls this negative energy and positive energy, okay? Don't get caught up on positive, good, negative, bad. They're just different directional charges. Okay, both are vitally important and they just do different things. What we're looking for is balance, okay? So this is that, going back again to that heart energy. This is where we balance it. This is where we balance it. So if this is blocked, you're going to experience blockages and you're going to be off balance in your other chakras. But if you aren't allowing a flow from some of your lower chakras or down here, you can also disrupt the balance here. So it's always, if you focus on keeping this balanced, then you are going to keep yourself in your optimal health. And it's through here, you're going to get your messages. You're going to get your truth. Because maybe I can give some uncomfortable examples. It's like, they're always just really good examples. So sorry that they're uncomfortable, but like maybe it's a woman and she's sensing that the guy's cheating on her, right? And it's really uncomfortable, but that, hey, it's coming up and you got to embrace that truth. But if I try to turn myself away from that truth of what's actually happening, then I'm not allowing it to come up. Okay. Or maybe it's just being vulnerable. Right? How to be really vulnerable and be yourself and to be honest with somebody about whatever it is. Maybe it is an insecurity that's coming up and just how to speak directly and honestly to that. Again, that allows. Maybe it's the simplicity of, oh, I don't like it when this happens. And then, but I hold on to that. What am I doing? Do you see my hands? I'm holding on to that. I'm not letting that open. I'm not letting that flow. So there's a really delicate and unique connection between our heart, our throat, and our solar plexus. Okay, because those are the 3 chakras right around this balancing point. So it can go off balance either way, but you need to really look at those 3 to utilize the balance. So the solar plexus is sitting there and it's holding you with your power and your confidence to move towards that truth. And your throat is helping it stay balanced by expressing it.
Wow, amazing. I have just so many questions. So many questions. Okay, let's go to then, let's simplify it to the folks that may be brand new to this type of content. So, okay. Yes. So what I've gathered so far is that that Reiki is the sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have access to it. Also that we can be connected to the earth and to the sky,
Mm-hmm.
and receive from the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
from the earth, receive from
Mm-hmm.
the top from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we focus on this in the center of our chest, our
Mm-hmm.
heart, that we are more likely to have balance between the energies coming from above, the energies from below.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're in your example of a woman sensing that her what's that?
No, keep going, keep going.
In your example, she's sensing that she's being cheated on. Then, if it was you,
Mm-hmm.
what would you do? Knowing what you know, if it's someone who is brand new to this content, what should they do?
What I encourage, and that's just an example, I'm not saying that's always the case, because the question that comes up with that is this my fear, right? Or is this what's really happening? But what happens from that is then people start spinning in circles, right? Then they start spinning in circles. Is this my fear? Is this not my fear? I'm feeling this, but then I'm this, and then I'm this, and then I'm this, and then I'm this, and then I'm this. What am I doing with my body? I'm off balance. I'm going back and forth. I can't get stable. And I'm totally not focused right now on my heart energy, which is what's keeping me alive with all my light. So, so what I recommend you do is just go as the person. Just communicate. And it can either be, are you cheating on me? Or it can be, I'm feeling something, what's going on? It can be a myriad of things, right? And so, and it doesn't even, like I said, cheating is just an example, all right? But it can be anything and everything. It can be, maybe you have a boss and you're sensing something and you're not quite sure what that is. Well, how many of you get caught in your head about it and create this really big story about what it is? And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, when you finally have the conversation, you realize that you made up a huge story out of nothing. And you created a lot of inner angst over nothing, right? And all of that could have been mitigated, could have been avoided by simple communication. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't assume anything, just ask. You have a question? Ask, right? Now, then there might be, oh, but what if that person lies to me? Well, you'll be able to know. You know. You might not like what you know, but you know. And I know you know that you know. And that's what you don't want to hear, but it is what you know. So part of this letting the energy up is not second guessing what you know, because that's your intuition. Your intuition's all the way down here in the gut. That's your colon. Right down there. You got to let that energy up. So listen to what you know. And if somebody's lying, you know. Okay, observe. Sit back. What's really happening here? Am I the one off balance? Or is there something else going around here that's off balance? And take a look, because maybe you are off balance, or maybe there's something else. And don't make such a big deal out of any of it. We're all learning, we're all growing, we're all healing, right? We're all learning how to have human interactions in a very digital world, right? Where everybody's just, like, he's got here on his thing, it says, bring smiles to 20 people. Well, in order to do that, you got to put your phone down. Right. And I'm not saying that about him. I'm just saying in general, right? So we're learning how to have these human to human interactions. So it's just about just pop through whatever tension, whatever story, whatever energy you've created, and in that it's, oh, but it's so hard to communicate. Okay, whatever that story is, screw that, throw it out the window, take a step forward, boom, go, ask, right? Because you're only creating your own dis-ease. Dis-ease, the opposite of ease. Right? You're only creating your own dis-ease and your own discomfort, because over time, when that lack of inner trust is there, you start having chronic pain. It's that simple. Am I breaking it down simply enough, or
Yeah.
should I simplify it more?
Keep going.
Okay. So this is right. So that's when you create pain. So then it's like, oh, but wait a second, my friend over here, they have this disease and they have that, and they've been diagnosed by Western medicine, which knows everything because they've been around for how many years? It's definitely been less than 1,000, I think. Right. So it's still kind of new, and it's definitely lacking in all the bodies that we are, because I'm not just my mind, I'm not just my emotions, I'm not just my body, and I'm not just my spirit. I am a compilation of all four of those things. I have all those directions inside of me. I am made up of air, earth, fire, and water, and spirit, and heart. Number 5 fingers. Okay, so there's no mistake how all these things are connected. There are beautifully, intricately connected mathematical, scientific sequences for everything I've been describing. Just take a look at the phi ratio, take a look at the solfeggio frequencies, take a look at the Fibonacci sequence, take a look at these things and break it down, and then look at the human body, right? We are organic. So I'm going to say this one other thing because it ties in. It really ties in. And I'm going to hit to a chord that we all feel and that we're trying to talk about, but we're not really talking about. And that this dis-ease and this discomfort that we experience because we're not allowing ourselves to be healthy by trusting that inner flow, okay, we are experiencing that dis-ease in the world around us. It is reflected out. How can I possibly respect and honor Mother Earth? This is our home. We live here, don't we? We don't live anywhere else. We live right here. All right. So let's just throw this whole starseed thing out the window for a second and let's get really real. Because all that stuff's really cool, but let's focus on where we're at, because we're here. So if we can't take care of this, that means we have no idea how to take care of this. Because if I can take care of this, I can take care of this out here.
Yeah, indeed. Starting with self.
Starting it with self.
Self-care.
Self-care, right? So, the friends we were talking about a little bit, let's look at climate change for an example. And this is coming in, so I'm just talking about it. I'm rolling with it all. So climate change and all these things, and everybody's freaking out and like, oh, let's go do this, and oh, let's go do that, and let's fix it because da-da-da. That's the problem. Stop trying to fix it. Mother Nature knows what she's doing. She is way older than you. She's way older than me, right? So the reason we're in this position in the first place is because we haven't thought about the consequences, how it's going to affect, right? So when I pull through McDonald's and I eat French fries that are infused with embalming fluid, okay, what am I doing to my body? Okay, now just imagine taking a needle and ingesting the plant with a little bit of that embalming fluid. What's going to happen to that plant?
Block.
It's not going to start doing so good. It might die. Okay, this is not rocket science. The thing is that we don't want to take accountability for it. It's hard. I'm getting really hard here in this. I didn't realize I was going to get so hard in here. But, I'm faced with it too. Where do I like cheese? Or where am I buying things in this health food store that I don't need to buy? Like all this packaged stuff. Like, what is this packaged stuff? What is this new marketing thing of oat milk that's filled with nothing but preservatives? Oh, but it's so cool to be vegan. And I'm just going to fill my body with all those preservatives and plastic and fake cheese. Yummy. And that's healthy? That's taking care of my body? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, can we talk then a little bit about, I guess, the emotional spikes? So I think one reason people eat French fries or whatever they eat for. It's probably emotional spikes. They get a high from the flavors and engineering and food engineering, taste engineering. So what do you see as a solution for those emotional spikes that have been engineered so carefully for people to find what they're missing for a few seconds in that bite, but it's sustainable?
It's just a coping mechanism. Ultimately, if you break it down, it boils down to coping, right? So if you slow down just a little bit, if you can, don't overwhelm yourself. I know I got a little heavy there, so I apologize. But just for those who are still new to this, all you got to do is just slow down a little bit. Just slow down, check in with your body, say, is this good for me? And do I really need this right now? You're going to hear an inner response. And that inner response is going to say, no, but I want it. And I want it because I'm anxious about this over here and I don't want to deal with those emotions. So I want to reach for that over here. Okay. And if you do go reach for that, it's okay. Really, it's okay because you're doing the best you can. But at least you're taking the time to stop and check and learn about what those yeses and nos are. And as you continue to do that, then you get a little bit stronger at saying no and following what your body's saying, right? Because the body's saying, oh, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. That hurts, that hurts, that hurts. So there's a little bit of reprogramming in with what you're sharing. It's just about reprogramming. So the mind is really powerful. And just start by rephrasing your thoughts, rephrase your words, slow down. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. If you make a mistake, we're all human. We're all learning. We're all growing. It's great. If, and to just pick up and keep doing the best that you can, but just be as honest with yourself as you can. Let go. If you weren't honest with yourself yesterday, just let that go. Just learn from it and move forward, right? And that's coming back to that heart energy, right? So we get into that honest energy, which isn't very comfortable always. Sometimes it's very, very comfortable. It can be really, really comfortable. And the more honest you get with yourself, the more comfortable it actually gets. So, but when I'm able to be honest like that, then it helps with that coping mechanism. Because ultimately it's like, what I try to tell clients is, you're the first person you came in with. You're the last person you're going out with. You are the person you're going to have the longest relationship with. Do you want a relationship filled with love and respect and support? Joy, happiness, right? So those are your choices. Those are your movements with your relationship with yourself. How you choose to go with that, that's your way. Because connection with Creator, you have your own pathway. So follow your yeses.
So good, so deep. People in partnerships. Let's talk about that. Okay, people in partnerships that may be hearing, watching this, and they are having ideas like, wow, I can do that. Maybe if I was single, or if I didn't have the marriage or the partnership, I have the kids.
Kids running around, yeah.
What about those people? That they already have their own say village. I like how you brought up that word. It's one of my values of that. It takes a village not only to raise a child, but to raise an adult, to raise an elderly person. It takes a village for everything. So people that are in relationships and they may be getting that intuition, they probably have been getting intuition for years to speak up, to change, to transform, yet because they are not part of an ecosystem that's not just themselves, it may take a little bit of expertise, help for them to to then create change when they're connected or responsible for the lives of kids and partnerships.
I know I have shared a lot. I've shared a lot of details and a lot of little things, and it might feel really overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, can I actually really do all of this? And realistically, your body can only take one step at a time. It literally can only do one step and then another step. So that's what I would say for these couples, for these families, for these little villages, is just take one step, plant one plant, make one change. If I have, like, let's say I've been there, okay, where I've had this list of 20 things that I needed to adjust because, like, I was like, oh my God, how did I get so off balance? Like, I got off balance, like, whoa, I need to get back in balance. I'm doing this, right? And if I tried to take care of those 10 things all at once, there's no way I would have been able to show up for work just to put my basic needs on the table, to put the food on the table, right? Which is vital nutrients for the body, and to be able to pay for this roof over the head. So now we're getting into root chakra stuff. Okay, root chakra, your basic needs. Okay, that's food, roof over the head. Take one step at a time. Don't set yourself up for failure. Set yourself up for success. You set yourself up for success by being kind to yourself and doing one thing at a time. So if you and your partner have some resentments against each other, and there's some things that you're working with, or you got a partner that might not be willing to look into that, but you are, and there's just some imbalances and healing that needs to take place, I recommend really working with somebody. Just work with one person. Start off with one person. I've worked with lots of couples with Reiki healing individually, sometimes come in together, but I have seen incredible stuff move with Reiki. I just have. I witness it every day. It's not me blabbering my mouth because I think it's cool. I'm like actually watching it help people. So but it's not this Western mentality of I'm going to pop a pill and everything's going to be better tomorrow. Okay, some things do take a little bit of time. So when you start working with Reiki, for example, the first 6 weeks, you're just getting out of an old habit, and you're getting into a new rhythm of filling your body up with that nutritious energy. Okay. And then it might take another 6 weeks to really stabilize that movement so you don't fall back into how many years of bad patterning? Okay. So give yourself time. That's why I'm saying be kind, one thing at a time, be patient. Okay. So about shifting that, but the Reiki can move old emotions. It can move out those blockages. Go back to everything I said in the beginning. It's like sitting underneath Niagara Falls. It will flush things out. Okay. It will flush things out, especially if you're willing to work with it. Because being willing to work with the Reiki means you're willing to work with yourself. Okay. And whatever traumas are there, because people have it, I've had it, still work on some things, some childhood traumas that come up, that trigger, that emotional, how did I find myself eating that cake? Or as an example, you know what I mean? So have a good relationship with yourself in whatever way that is. So for you couples, one step at a time, don't be afraid to ask for help. That's what that village, that mentality of it takes a village. You don't have to do it alone. Learn about who you are, learn to strengthen yourself, but surround yourself, have a mentor, have a coach, have a therapist, have a Reiki practitioner, whatever you're feeling called to. You're called to work with me. I would love to work with you. But if you're feeling called to a different modality, go do that. Your spirit is guiding you. Okay. But get to the core of what's going on and focus on that, because you always want to start with the foundation. Because if you don't have a strong foundation, right, then things can crumble. So you need to clear out some of those wounds. You need to wash that out. One partner, other partner, wash that out. Okay. Nobody can fully foresee what those changes are. All right. But if you keep leaning in, forgiving, leaning in, being honest, leaning in, not taking it personal, leaning in to trust, leaning into respect. All right. And this goes both ways, for the men to hear the women and the women to hear the men. Goes both ways. To support both ways, to say thank you to each other. Thank you for taking out the trash, honey. Thank you for going to the grocery store. Thank you for taking care of the children. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because everybody's got a slightly different role. But sometimes our wounds are like, wait a second. And I see some of these men trying to like figure stuff out because women are healing some stuff, and that's good, we're healing stuff. But we got to be good with the men too. We got to say thank you. We got to remember to appreciate them when they're doing something worth appreciating, right? And if you don't want expectations on you, then don't put expectations on somebody else. It's really that simple. Am I making it simple enough?
I think you are.
Okay, because it can be easy. Don't overwhelm yourself. It can be really easy. You don't get caught up in what you didn't do. You're here right now. It's a new day. It's a new way. I love you, Mama. It's a new day. It's a new way. You know, you didn't say I love you to your kids yesterday. Just say it today. Put your arm around them, give them a hug, say, man, I love you. What was this? This was like, I don't know, maybe like 6 years ago. And I was traveling, and it could have been more than 6, probably 8 years ago. And I was like, I never know when my mom is going to die. Any of us can go at any time. I got to tell her how much I love her all the time. And I started that practice. I just started to say it. Well, I mean, what good does it do if I'm not saying it? Right. And so I tell my mom all the time how much I love her. I've told her what an inspiration she's been to me, all these things. We've had lots of talks. We've had lots of healing journeys together. We've moved through some stuff where I've been hurt, where she's been hurt, you know, so it's about talking, just being in that heart and being able to listen, you know, and just start from today. Hug a person, make 20 people smile. Be kind.
Oh, I'm loving this so much. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Yes, I'm so grateful you're here. We're having this chat. Can we move the conversation a little bit towards children and towards children education? Yeah.
It's a really powerful conversation.
And the reason I like to go there is because I have a theory that if we're helping parents with children, we're helping 2 generations there, and perhaps even more. Your next words could be straight up towards children that could be listening to this, or, you know, because their parents are listening, or to parents.
Yeah, children. Thank you so much for this question. Thank you so much for this question. Yummy. Now this is getting juicy. Wow, our children are our future generation. Just really let that sink in for a second. Our children are our future generations. The traditional teachings, that span back thousands of years. Every decision they made for the 7 generations ahead. They made with the 7 generations in mind. For that longevity in mind. So they are our future. And they're precious. And they also have their own unique connection with Creator that needs to be respected. Oh, this is a big topic. So where to begin? First thing with children that I feel from my observation that I'm going to get into is really looking at the educational system. Okay. So when we look at ourselves as our adult self and we're like, and here I was this like mid 20-year-old woman, and I'm like, I wasn't taught this and I wasn't taught that. And I'm learning this in my 20s. I'm learning this in my 30s. I felt so behind. I didn't just feel behind. I felt, what's the right word? I felt stunted. Like I wasn't able to properly show up with my fullness because I wasn't given the proper education. And so that's really important, is that education, but it's more, and let's open this word education a little bit, okay? And let's really look at what that means. Now we have our public educational system. Yeah, we all know what that was like. Okay, and things are moving and changing in that. Okay, so with the education system, children, we want to start addressing all aspects of wellness. We need to teach them how to take care of themselves. Wellness. To teach them how to take care of themselves, we need to learn a little bit about it ourselves, which means knowing how this inner channel works and how to live in self-care with ourselves. So they need to understand healthy sexuality. There's a lot of unhealthy sexuality in this country because it's been repressed. It's been really scared and we don't know what to do with it. But there is such a thing as healthy sexuality. And I'm bringing that up because sexuality is right there at that root. It's right down here, right? Your reproductive organs are right down there with your root chakra. All right. So it's part of that foundation of learning of health, and sexual energy is very healthy. It feeds the body. Okay. It provides a lot of nutrients. So we need to teach our children proper, healthy sexuality. This will take care of, in case there are children who are watching, I'm not going to name a few things, but this will take care of some of those things that on the news we just don't want to see. We don't want to see it. Okay. And it will take care of that. Don't let your kids watch that junk. That's junk. You're putting that stuff in their brain. Don't feel when they're little like that, they're like sponges. They're absorbing information. What kind of information do you want them to absorb? So think about little things like that, because it's about education. Teach them how to love, teach them how to move through the heart, teach them, have open, honest dialogue. If you got a 4-year-old asking you about his private parts, tell them what they are. Don't create shame around it. Right? Just tell them it's okay. Be honest about it, but then also be honest about what's healthy, right? About being respected, how a man is respected and how a woman is respected. Teaching them those healthy things so that people are, because people come into my office and I'm helping them through certain traumas. Okay, those traumas can be mitigated through proper education. Okay, so I'm not going into it verbally just in case there's kids here watching, but this is where we can actually stop having those traumas in our society. Okay, so education is really, really, really important. The second is doing. Okay, you got to be with your kids. You got to be with. If you're 90% work, your life's not balanced. So you got to balance it, right? So just be with your kids a little bit, play with them, let them teach you, let them open you up a little bit. Because these are our future. So they have information for the future. And in all sincerity, we've left things a little bit of a mess here on this earth for them to take care of. So let's help them a little bit so that they can take care of it. And that means we got to help them move. So this letting the kids just sit here on the phone doing this because you know what? You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to talk to them. Just talk to them. Spend time, get into crafts. Your solar plexus right here is about doing. It's action oriented. And one of the biggest sicknesses we have is a lack of doing. People wanting to do this, but they don't. And they want to do this and they don't, right? And so what does that do? That congests this area here. And what does that do? That blocks the flow to the heart. That creates stress and anxiety. Anxiety and stress live right here. Okay. And some here, but for the main part, it's right in here. So focus on the doing with your children. This is a very big topic. I could go into a lot more, but I'm feeling to hone it into those two things. I could dedicate a whole 2-hour segment to what I see with children, but those are the two really, really big things. So we need to start, parents need to start demanding from the public school system changes. Remember, as a mass, we are powerful. If we speak up, if we have a voice, we are powerful. Right? So you don't like what's going on in the school, you don't like what's being taught, then change it. Change it. We have more power in our hands than we realize. All right. And the government and all those little systems like to make you think that you don't, and that's not true. You don't like the education your child is getting, change it. Stand up, speak up, go talk to the principal, get a group of parents together, put together a program. Ask for help. Ask for help, and the right help will show up. Okay. We might stumble a little bit, might make some mistakes along the way, but at least you're trying, at least you're moving, at least you're going forward. Okay. It's about paving that way 7 generations ahead. Remember that. That's the biggest thing. Every decision you make, 7 generations ahead.
I love that a lot. That's a great, great framework. That reminds me, so I've also been working with couples, with young children, and one of the things that I've seen them do that's been very helpful for them is to, one is stop teaching one another from the framework of I'm a teacher, I'm going to show you what you should do, and seeing each other as we're adults, we're a team, we're partners, we're lovers, we're husband, wife, king, queen. And then once that is so solidified that they are best friends, they're soulmates, they are connected at all levels, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, then later on the teaching can come. But not when they are, in the first years of marriage, they're having kids. And the other thing I've found very useful is the illusion that parents can hide emotion from children.
I like that one. I like that one.
Yeah, there's no hiding emotion from children, even if dad is flying, is on a different continent, on a business trip, and so I'm thinking of a specific person here that their children was, especially one of the kids, was not doing very well physically. The physical health was not. It was not 100%. So suggested them to start having better thoughts, which then caused them to have better feelings, and better feelings then would radiate to their children. And within a week, their children were back to 100%, just by the parents changing this illusion that, oh, I can hide my feelings from my children. No, for parents stressed, the feelings of stress will go towards the child, and they're gonna act it out. They're gonna act it out through disease, through their own type of stress. And so parents listening, watching, please choose better thoughts, choose better feelings, and it's going to trickle down to what your kids are feeling and thinking. And that is a way better way to teach children, in my opinion, by becoming than doing, than by speaking or telling. So become then do, and let them copy you. They're going to copy you anyways. And Christina, we're coming up on time here.
Yeah.
How can folks reach out to you? And I know you have a gift for the listeners and people watching?
Yeah, so I have a lovely gift for you all. If you want to have a chat with me, I'm offering a 30-minute free coaching call. So there should be a link in here. Is that correct? There'll be a link here where you can just click on it, book, set your time, pick your time. It should be really easy. Boom, done. And I'll give you a call from that. And then we'll have a phone call and we'll do a coaching call. We'll get to know each other a little bit and you'll receive a lot from that. And you can move on from there in any way that chooses good for you. And another way to get in touch with me is you can go to my website. It is REIKIplus.net. Again, it is REIKIplus.net. And you can also call me. You can text me. I totally love getting phone calls and texts. I'm old-fashioned that way. 858-264-3232. Again, that's 858-264-3232. Yeah, you can reach me that way, or you can email me at Christina@ReikiPlus.net. Christina@ReikiPlus.net. So those are going to be your ways of getting in touch with me. I hope that you received a lot today, and thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening. It's really been a pleasure. And yeah, I hope to meet one of you, a few of you, lots of you.
Christina, thank you so much. Let's do this again. I think we have so much more to cover.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone else listening, watching. Thanks for your support. Share this with people that you respect and care about, and hope to see you next time.